Welcome, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, family, peace, family. It is your host, the butterfly, and her beautiful son, Brandon. Now, I said that in reverse. It's Brandon and your beautiful main host, the butterfly. I just want to see if y'all catch that. Welcome and good morning, everybody. Today is our 12th day of celebrating and acknowledging Black History Month, year 2024. And we're here live with you at 7 a.m. every morning of the month of February to give you daily motivations for African American success. Thank you guys for rocking with me. As you log on, please let us know where you're coming from. Let us know where you're watching from. And we'll jump into the show here pretty soon. It's a beautiful morning. Mom, how you doing this morning? How you feeling?
Because of yesterday, I'm going to say I am feeling great, like
Mm.
Timmy the Tiger.
Why? Because of yesterday. What happened yesterday?
Well, yesterday it says affirmative action. So
Ah.
I'm affirming the action of greatness.
Well, good,
Oh, I
good,
wanted
good.
to, truth be told, I wanted to stay in the bed this morning. I just wanted to stay in the bed and sleep it off.
Mm, I feel the same way.
Yeah, but we're here.
But you know what? Just because it was a good it was a good I had a really good sleep for the most part. My son woke up a little bit. He wasn't feeling all well, but he
How
just had to. I
how
think he
is
just
he?
had to use the restroom. He's good now though.
Okay,
Yeah, he went
good.
he went back to bed. He's doing good. Um, but all is well in my world. All is well here. I'm just happy to be alive. Happy everybody's doing fine. And wanted to welcome you guys again to the Daily Motivations for African American Success. So if you've been here with us for the last 12 days, because we're going to do it for the rest of the month. And we are reading together collectively the book Daily Motivations for African Success. Y'all can see it right there by Mr. Kimbro right there. Kimbro, he's the best-selling Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. So we are going to read every passage we can in here. I'm going to try to read the entire book here, but we are doing public readings of the every page for the month of February, every passage for the month of February. And if you don't know about this book will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that leads to the achievements of your true goals. And in 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from distinguished and celebrated African Americans. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. Teaches will last a lifetime. So you just showed us, you just told us, Mom, something about the affirmations yesterday. Did affirmations work well for you? Yesterday we were supposed to go home and not go home. We already were home, but we were supposed to be home practicing our affirmations throughout and see how it changed our day. How did it change your day?
It just keeps, it's a reminder. It feels like you are, because we are starting like this, because we're getting
Mm-hmm.
up, starting the daily motivation, that for me, that I am motivated during the day. And it's not just day 11. I continue to be motivated and see and feel and affirm those from day one on, in different times, different things like that. So they all have just been a reminder for me. And it reminds me again of the book called Miracle Morning. I don't, Tamaria is probably not listening today because of work, but Tamaria introduced me to Miracle Morning. And I still have, maybe I'll try to bring my billboard out, but my whatever they call the thing, poster thing that I made. But the Miracle Morning is another good tool. You wake up and it gives you these things, affirmations and things like that for you. But it reminds me of that book, but in a different way. Like this is more about, for me, mental, spiritual. It is like spiritual healing for me. That's a good word. It is spiritual healing. And in most times things that I would not have thought about in this way. So I think Dr. Kimbro does, Dennis Kimbro does an awesome, I've said this, an awesome job with the way, or did an awesome job with the way that he wrote this. So I'm grateful, and you guys get the book, like get the book. I cannot,
It's worth it.
well, yes, I cannot say that enough. So often we will we will say we're going to get something or do something, and then me included. And then before you know it, you've not gotten it. We will be done with this, and you have not gotten it. And if you don't get it while we're doing it, you're likely not going to get it
Right.
after we stop. So I cannot say that enough. Get the book and make it applicable to your life. Start your day out with it. So
Again, if you're just joining us, guys, this book that we're reading every day for the month of February in acknowledgement for Black History Month is called Daily Motivations for African American Success, and it's short each one page. Though every now and then there'll be one that's 2 pages, and it gives you a quote from a renowned African American from our history. It gives you a passage, and it gives you an affirmation at the bottom that we read 3 times. So if you're tapping in, I see my cousin Will. What's up, Big Will? We used to call him Lil Will, but he's my big cousin, so I call him Big Will. What's up, man? I appreciate you for tapping in, always supporting me, coming to see my fights in Nashville and coming to visit, man. I really appreciate you. So thank you for being here today, and this is perfect for someone like you who is big on motivation, who's big on pouring into people and encouraging others to do better for themselves and encouraging our family to do better for ourselves. I appreciate you, brother. This is us being able to pour back into you, man. This is me being able to pour back into you, hopefully. So I love you, man, and welcome. So let's jump right into it, folks. We're going to go to our 12th day, our 12th passage for the month of February, and it is titled, can you believe this, Mama?
wait a
Growing
minute.
Pain.
Hold on. Wait
Huh?
1 second. Go ahead. Go ahead. Wait. Don't read it yet. I got to get my lights out. Hold on. Okay. Um, I
Growing
need
Pain.
I need Big Will to call me.
Okay.
He's little Will to me. Tell him I said call Auntie. Okay.
All right. Y'all heard, you heard that, Big Will? Call Auntie. Look at this.
Today,
Take care of
today,
family business. All right. So
today.
day 12, Growing Pains is the title. And our quote today comes from Ben Vereen, who is an entertainer. And the quote goes, "You've got to make haste while it's still light of day. My godmother used to say, I don't want to rust out. I just want to work out. If you stand still long enough, people will throw dirt on you."
Mm.
I'm going to read that one more time.
Please do. I said,
I felt it. You've got to make haste while there's still light of day. My godmother used to say, I don't want to rust out. I just want to work out. If you stand still long enough, people will throw dirt on you. And that's
ooh.
by Ben Vereen, an entertainer. I'm going to take a sip of coffee after that one. That's a big one. And the passage for today starts like this. What is the key to your unlimited growth and personal development? Perhaps the following tale will provide a clue. One day, a farmer was walking through his pumpkin fields and happened to find a 1 gallon glass jug. With nothing better to do, and finding himself in an experimental frame of mind, he poked a small pumpkin through the neck of the jug and left it. A year later, when the time came to harvest the pumpkins, the farmer again came across the glass jug. Oddly enough, the pumpkin had filled it completely,
Mm.
and with no more room to grow, had stopped growing. The farmer broke the glass and held a pumpkin that had assumed the exact size and shape of the jug. Experts point out that people are like that pumpkin. They poke themselves into jugs beyond which they cannot grow. The difference here is that somebody else doesn't poke them into the jug.
Ooh.
They do it themselves. Each of us decides how much we are going to grow and what kind of world we're going to live in. We can only grow as large as the jug we're in, and we are the ones who decide its size and scope. The person who finds his world closing in around him, who finds it dull, routine, and uninteresting, has outgrown his jug and should start looking for a larger one.
Mm.
And the affirmation of today that we read 3 times is: today I will break out of my jug. I will utilize my potential. Today I will break out of my jug and I will utilize my potential. And last time, saying it all with me if you're at home. Today I will break out of my jug.
My jug.
I will
I
utilize my potential.
my potential. Mm.
So butterfly, it look like you about to come out the cocoon over there. What's going on with you? How you like this one?
Well, first of all, the title, if they've been rocking with us over the days, they perhaps will remember us talking about the growing pains as a young man, young boy. Brandon was complaining about his knees, legs, and things like that hurting. So finally, he complained enough for me to take him to the doctor, and the doctor said he's just growing tall. He's just growing. It's part of that process. And after that, it wasn't a complaint. It was a request for the for the pain because he wanted to be tall. So I'm going to say that again. After the doctor said it's growing pains, he's growing tall. It was not a complaint about the pain. He requested the pain. So much so, he'd come in after school, say, Mom, he'd stand up against the wall. I don't know if you remember this. Have I grown? Did I grow? He'd be trying to measure, based on yesterday where he
Yeah.
was. Why? Because he wanted to be tall. How does that relate to this? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? Are you affirming that? Are you making requests for that through your actions, your thoughts, your deeds? Are you? So, man, this is beautiful. This is some butterfly stuff right here.
I don't know
Go.
if you remember yesterday, Mom, but when we were talking, I I I made a brief reference to crabs that grow big in their shells and then have to go and
Mm-hmm.
find another shell, and sometimes they even fight for that shell.
Right, I
You know,
do.
and that reminds me. You
Mm.
made a great point about in reference to a part of our past together and our history of me at first not wanting the growing pain, not wanting the pain, but then after figuring out that it wasn't just any kind of pain, it was growing pains, and all of a sudden that made the burden easier and almost expected. And I think um, that changed my thought process and my relation to pain in general. There was something that clicked in my head. I remember, um, and who knows, it may have led me to what I'm doing now as professional fighter, to where you can just go through the pain for some greater accomplishment, for some greater victory. And so, with growing pains, we have to realize that we will not, if we're not in some amount of discomfort, then we're probably not growing. And if you're in a place to where you're maintaining, then I understand. But at the point to where I am at life, and where many others at life, we're trying to build, we're trying to grow, and maintain what we already have now. And that's a whole nother thing. Can you maintain what you have and grow? There's some discomfort that comes from that, because you can't just sit there and ask for more and more and more and expect more and more and more and not be maintaining what you have,
Mm.
right? So sometimes the growing pains are the maintaining pains, right? If you want to grow from that. But I think the our inclination to have leisure can sometimes undermine our potential or undermine our growth. Our inclination towards leisure can undermine our growth. Leisure by wanting to, relax today, wanting not to do what we said we were going to do. I'm all for taking rest, I'm all for taking recovery, But I have noticed that for me, it's better if I plan my days of recovery. So in working out, so as a mixed martial artist, we train all the time, 2 and 3 times a day, at some points. There are days where you have to rest and you have to recover, because I don't know if you know this about your physiology, but when you're working out, you're breaking your muscles down. You're ripping them apart. When you're lifting weights, sprinting, like that, you're actually breaking your body down. The pain comes a little bit sometimes when you're working out hard, but the majority of the pain comes the day after, when you're sore, when you have to recover. And when you're sore, that's when your body is putting the pieces back together and making them stronger. That's why you have to relax. That's why you have to rest. That's why you have to eat your protein. But recognize that I plan those days as best as I can so that I can rest. This is my day of rest. I'm not training today. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to take a hot bath. I'm going to relax. Those days are planned. But that in itself is still going towards my goals. That in itself is still utilizing my potential. So just know that any type of growth is going to require some type of discomfort, because growth requires you to get out of your comfort zone. It requires for you to move to a new space that you weren't before. It requires you coming of your proverbial jug. But speaking about that jug, how many of us place ourselves in situations that we know are smaller than our potential? How many of us place ourselves in a place that's smaller than our potential, just to fit in with the space around us? Mom, you're on mute too. I don't know if you remember.
You know what, Brandon? Good thing I was on mute because you would have thought I was eating because I'm like, just listen to what you're saying and taking it all in. Y'all know
Oh,
what? I'm just going to stop right here and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back and this side too for my wonderful son. Like,
oh,
I'm sitting here and I listen to you and I'm so thankful. You guys, I remember, and this is going to be so off target, but I remember one of Brandon's friends, she was like, he's Google. You can call him and ask him anything. And he just, because, we're reading this for the first time and then it seems like you've read it yesterday all day because you just kind of spill the things out and they're so rewarding. And I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you doing this with me, suggesting it. You don't get that a lot from young people. So bless you, thank you, and you are one of my most beautiful, greatest blessings from God. You really are, and I just wanted to tell you that without getting choked
thank
up.
you,
So, all right. So, okay, back to the show. Back to the
Mom.
show. I love you. I
Thank
love
you,
you.
Mom.
I really do. I
I
really
love you
do.
too, but I wouldn't be.
Um,
I wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be the man that I am. Wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't even exist if it weren't for you. So thank you. Anything that I do is anything I do good is a highlight of you. Anything that I do bad is my own and doesn't have to do anything with you. So any of my faults are my own, and any of my positive attributes I owe to you. So thank you. Appreciate you, Mom. Um,
thank
but
you. Okay.
I want to hear that. Appreciate that, Mama.
Okay. All right. So, as you were talking, I wrote down just a few things, but the growing pains, you guys, I'll tell you for me, like this has been a really, really, really long journey. I'm telling you, and it's been by far the most difficult thing to do
Mm,
is transform my mind, to renew, to be transformed by the renewing of my mind, because the mind, you guys, it keeps things that we don't even know it has until there's a trigger there, or we do something, say something, see something, be somebody that we know we're not. We don't know sometimes what it has held on to, and that just also, I need to say, guard your heart. Remember to guard your heart and be open to growth. It is a dying to self. So it's going to be those growing pains because it's truly a dying to the self that you've created through whatever traumatic experiences you have. and that you keep reliving. Because let's get it right here. That the truth be told, the traumatic thing or situation or person is, well, in some cases they're gone. They're no longer with you, and if they're not, get them gone. I'm just gonna say get them gone. Um, so if they're gone, if it's over, if that traumatic experience is over, then it's living in and through you and through your thoughts, through your mind, through that heart. And when you start to release that, you're releasing a part of your life that you've kept alive. And so as it goes, you are reliving now the experience. And that hurts. But you have to remember to die to that. Let that thing die so that something new, that new jug that's sitting right next to the old jug, is waiting for you just to hop out and get in so you can grow some more. So it's grow through grow through those growing pains or grow through what you go through. I want to ask this question um, for everybody. Why do we reject or ignore the need to grow? Because let the truth be told, which was what, day 8, 9 or so? Let the truth be told, you know, you know the woes of you.
Mm.
You know the things that you need to untie, detangle. You know. Why do we avoid growth? We don't have to answer that today. But I like, as you guys listen, as we grow through this and get to the end, maybe that's a question that we all need to ponder. Why do we ignore the shenanigans, the outbreaks that we do? Why do we ignore them in a
Mm.
way like, and we put it on other people? It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. And as we said, let the truth be told. It's not them, it's not the environment. When you get to a place of where I'm going, y'all, and I can see the light, it's almost as if nothing and no one triggers you anymore. Let me say that again. Nothing and no one triggers you anymore because you've come to this place internally. Peace that surpasses all. That's what it is.
Mm.
And
You
I'm triggered
reminded me.
every day. Go ahead.
Mm. You reminded me of two things. You reminded me of a quote by Marianne Williamson, and you also reminded me of something that Maya Angelou said when they were talking about. And I'll speak the last one first. Maya Angelou was speaking about, um, in effect, what you were talking about as far as triggers. And I think triggers can be, it has a negative connotation, but I think it can also be a point of over elation, right? Of unfounded arrogance in a sense too. And let me so and it was and I didn't notice this until Maya Angelou said this. And she said when people they asked her, okay, when people give you these huge compliments and tell you that you're the you're the conscious basically of the United States in your writing, and you're the mirror for America to see itself in her writing. And how do you feel when people give you these huge compliments? It was something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. And she said, I don't pick it up. When they give me compliments, and I don't put it down. No, she said, I don't pick it up when they insult me, and I don't put it down when they compliment me. And so, like, I don't pick up their criticisms and accept it. And if they try to give me a compliment, or if they try to give me a compliment, I don't really pick it up. And if they try to take something away from me or detract me, I don't put myself down in a sense. So basically, she knows that it's not hers. She don't pick it up if it's not hers, and she don't put it down if it is hers. And I think what she meant by that is if somebody says,
Hmm.
if somebody blows smoke up your backside basically and tries to give you head, she's like, that's not what I'm for. I'm not in it for your rewards, for your accolades. I'm not in it for the prizes. I'm not in it for the 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 keeping up with the Joneses and being better than my neighbor. I'm not in it for the fame. I'm in it for people. I'm basically in it for the passion. I'm in it for the guidance and the purpose. You know, I just thought that was really really powerful, and I was reminded of this specifically through Imam Hamza Abdul Malik from the Midtown Mosque, an African American um, Islamic scholar who, at the age of like 12 or 13, traveled across the world to study for 20 plus years. And he came back and is now in Memphis. And he's actually the one that led the prayer for Muhammad Ali, the famous greatest of all time in boxing. Muhammad, he led the funeral prayer for him. So this is a very powerful brother. Muhammad Ali said, "I want you to lead the at my funeral." And so he reminded me of that, if I'm not mistaken. And I just thought that that's exactly how, and it was years ago when he said that. It was between him and Matt. And he just reminded me in his own character, when you would give him a compliment, he would give thanks to God. He wouldn't say, "Oh, well, I worked real hard and I did this and I did that." He wouldn't go into further explanations of his perceived greatness. And if you ever were to give him an insult, I'm sure he would do the same. It just would not, because he knows who he is, not confounding himself to your jug, no matter how big it is or how small it is. Because if your jug is the size, I don't know, your jug is the size of a mansion. Who knows? Maybe you are the size of a bigger institution. Even if it's big to you, why limit yourself with any type of boundaries that God didn't give you? So I just want us to think about that. And for the Marion and Williamson, you reminded me. You asked a question, and you said we don't have to answer it now, but I had already thought about it in my head, um, about why. Like, what is it that I think you said something about that away from basically our success goals, our growth. Do we not go to growth? And I thought of a quote, and her quote was, "Our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are full beyond measure." And a lot of people stop there, but there's actually
Mm.
more to that passage. She says, "Our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about thinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. How
Brandon,
powerful is
that's what we used to use. That is powerful. That's what we used to use for the 901 butterflies, the girls. That was our quote. So thank you
that?
for bringing that up. I want to. I put the Maya Angelou's quote out there, but I want to, because I think that's beautiful. I've heard it, but it's been a long time, and I've never really, I guess, looked into it. But it is, don't pick them up, don't pick them up, and don't lay them down. But you could also change this up: don't pick it up and don't lay it down. I like this, but it says something to think about from Dr. Angelo's "Don't Pick Them Up and Don't Lay Them Down," meaning when you're at the top and those around you are pouring compliments on you, simply smile. When you're in the bottom of a curve of success and those around you turn to each other and say, she doesn't have it, but I'm going to say she don't got it. That's what I'm going to say. She doesn't have it. She don't got it. Simply smile. If you don't pick up the empty compliments, you can discard the empty criticism. The reward for the doing must be the doing. Y'all got that?
Mm, mm.
I need to read that again. Did you get
So
it?
it's
I'm gonna
for
post that
the
out
sake of
today. What?
for the sake of just doing it, for the sake of the passion, basically, the doing of it is the success.
Right.
Basically, what my coach Brian Hall tells me all the time: trust the process. Be in love with the process. Don't be in love with winning or
Yeah.
that's the picking them up and the laying them down. But if you're in love and in
Mm.
passion, enthralled with the process, how can you not win? Because like we said, like we read in one of the previous passages, success is a statistical event. So success is a statistical event. The more you do it, the more you're committed, the more you show up, or you don't provide excuses. I think it was that day it was on excuses, was
Hmm.
the title. So,
Excuses,
that
excuses.
that that it was excuses that success was a statistical error or something like that. It was one of the passages, but that stayed with me. So I really appreciate putting that quote up there.
Yeah, I will put the this reading on it in the comment sections later section when we're off. But another thing to say to this, you guys, you can't. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You can't put your faith in people. People are so fickle. How can you? Because people will compliment you and turn right around and talk about the thing that they just complimented you on or for to somebody else and say she don't got it to them. I'm saying that in my words. So you cannot do the doing for, as Brandon said, the reward or for to get the satisfaction from a people who don't know who they are. How can I compliment you
Mm,
and be happy for you if I'm complimenting myself and happy for me? How can I do that? It ain't doable. Let's just keep it real.
mm,
We talked about this before. How can I love you if I don't first love myself? It's in the Bible that we read. How can I love you? How can I love my brother, my sister, my mother if I don't love me? And truth
mm,
be told, it's a lot of us running around thinking, oh, I love me. I got me. But if you really did an inventory, take inventory of what you allow in your life, who you allow in your life, what you take, what you put up with, what you know about the truth about yourself, but refuse to get out that jar. You know you're in the jar. You know you're in there. And get this, there's no lid
mm,
on the jar. You won't even get out. You won't even step out.
mm,
Oh,
mm.
I'm going to shut up.
I
Check
got
these
a
comments.
I got a hadith to share while you're looking at those comments. So a hadith is a saying or a historical note from the Prophet Muhammad, right? So I'm Muslim. So to us, the last prophet after the prophet Jesus, about 600 years after Jesus, who we believe was prophesied by Jesus, was a man named Muhammad, the a great grandson of Abraham's son Ishmael. And the hadith says, whoever sought the pleasure of Allah or the pleasure, though it was displeasing to the people, then God becomes pleased with him and will make the people pleased with him. And whoever sought the pleasure of the people, though it was displeasing to Allah or God, then Allah becomes displeased with him and will make the people displeased with him as well.
You got to send me that so I can put
So,
that in the section.
okay. So
Okay.
basically, if you do something that for the for the pleasure of God,
Mm.
even though you think it might be it's displeasing to the people, then not only will God be pleased with you, but he'll make the people pleased with you, even if they don't say it. In their hearts, the people will be really pleased with you. And whoever pleasure of the people, paramount, whoever seeks the pleasure of the
Mm.
people, even though it displeases God, not only will God be displeased with him, but he will make it to where, in the end and ultimately, the people will be displeased with you.
Hmm. You know,
But
that
we, like you
reminds me
said,
of,
we can't be.
go ahead. Said what? Said that again?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You're about to comment. I'm sorry.
No, you were going to say something. You said it, but we missed it, I thought,
Um,
at the
no, I
very
don't know.
end. Okay.
I forget.
That reminds me of your grandma, Erlene, telling me one time that our purpose, so often we search for purpose. We ask the question, what is our purpose? What is our purpose? What do we do? What do we do? And she said, our purpose is to bring glory to the kingdom of God. And how you do that, how do you do that? That's another big question. But and I don't have a answer for you, because I believe it's the same but not the same. But I talked about the school crossing guard in Clarksdale, Mississippi. No,
Hmm.
Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm sorry. Where, I mean, this man was the talk of the town. They loved, loved, loved him because of how, and it wasn't what he did, it's how he did it. And so often we look down on the person who comes every morning or every week and picks up our trash, or we don't really think about them in a way we think about the guy in the suit, with the fancy car and all of that. We don't even think about them twice sometimes, but we do think about them when they're on strike and the trash is piling up. They become
Hmm.
very significant at that point. But going back to the crossing guard, he did it with passion. It wasn't what he did, it was how he did it that made him who he was and that stood out to people. Also
Hmm.
reminds me, I want to bring the woman and the man thing in here, but there's a quote that said a woman can make a man feel like trash collector, or she can make him feel like the president of the United States. And that goes for everybody. We can make people feel like the guy, which is nothing wrong with that. So that quote's, interesting, but just think about the overall context of it. So,
You know,
no, I don't know. Tell me.
no, no, no. I don't want to interrupt you. I'll speak after you.
No, you're fine. No, I'm
Okay.
joking.
No, no.
Lighten up.
No, no. I was just respect. You made me think of um, maybe forget now. You were talking about the trash collector and
Yeah.
the difference between jobs of or the characterization that we give or the connotation of a trash collector, and then opposing that to like the president of the
Mhm.
United States. If you think about it, really, especially if you're thinking about in the American context, the trash collector is someone that really helps everyone that he touches or everyone that he's exposed to. He's picking up their trash. What a deed, right? And to do that with that type of poise, to do that with some type of poise and elegance and excellence, right? Hassan in Arabic. That type of excellence is something that honors a human being, right? And now you compare that to the president of the United States, who, I mean, for as long as I can remember, America has been involved in multiple wars and imperialistic expansions and military bases. You know, we have, I don't know what, over 800 military bases around the world in other countries. Not a military base of another country in our country, but imagine type of imperial colonial settler um, military industrial complex that it takes to really be the executive in chief, who is the head of our army, right? So there are people all across the world who see our presidents, specifically ours right now, as someone who has bombed them, or someone who has committed all these atrocities, or someone who has undermined the the independence and self determination of a particular people in any space. You can go all over the world, but they are looked at as the leader of the free world. So how incredible is it that you could have somebody in this position of power and authority, no matter what they do, just the position itself is seemingly deserving of honor, right? But I think that that honor of the position is empty. It's empty, as opposed to the trash collector, who it seems like that is an empty position of honor, but really is full so much blessing and benefit to the public and every single person that they touch. So sometimes it's our perception and our allocating of value to one person based on their position as opposed to their character. And so anything that you go out and you do it with excellence, because excellence in anything honors the dignity of and dignifies the human being. But doing that same thing with um, uh, doing that same thing in a sloppy way. If you're the trash man and you don't care when you throw the trash over, if it spills everywhere, and you watch it and you just like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm going on to the next house, then you become worse than what you may have perceived your job to be. You've become even worse. You may have thought, oh man, I'm just a trash collector. They don't care. I don't care about them. They don't care about me. I'm just gonna leave it everywhere. And not only will you be complained about and lose your job, but you have dishonored yourself. You have disrobed yourself of your dignity, in taking that up, because you took that responsibility in whatever capacity that you did. You agreed to do something. And so whatever you agree to do and whatever you decide to do it with excellence, or don't do it at all, because it undermines your own honor, your own dignity, your own integrity if you don't. So whatever you do, once you leave this world, once this job, once you leave this space, once you leave this crowd or this group of people, or you leave this conversation, what impression did you give? Did you benefit yourself or someone, or did what you say was just idle talk? Or even worse, was it talk that actually defamed someone, or undermined some benefit to someone? So I think we should really look at ourselves and reevaluate what our definition of growth is. To go back to our title, Growing Pains, and our passage. What is your definition of growth? And is it one that serves you? Is it truly growing? Or is our definition of growth based on the jug we put ourselves
Mm.
in?
That's a good
Have
point,
we
Brandon,
limited
especially
our
with the jug. That's a good point. Like, oh, is it based on the jug? Because
have we limited our potential?
imagine getting in a, imagine you, it made me think that of this. So imagine you picking the jug based on, like, I'm going to get in this jug and stay in here. I'm not going to grow. I'm going to pick the prettiest one, the most popular one, so that people will see the jug and not me in the jug, not growing.
Right.
Get it? You
Yeah.
also made me think
Yeah.
about the fabric of our lives, which was day 7, talking about most of
Hmm.
us will never receive an Oscar or a Nobel Peace Prize and all of that. So if you guys are listening for the first time, go back and look or listen at day 7, because it talks about kind of the thing that we're talking about here now. That's day 7, the fabric of our lives. And all of those videos are out on YouTube and Facebook. I want to take some comments here. The perspective view, Tamaria. Tamaria, I hope you heard us earlier talking about you with your motivation to me about the miracle mornings. So the perspective view says, great points. What is the pain worth? And she also says, love the moment of you all just, oh, love the moment you all just had. Beautiful. Hats off to you both, giving each other the kudos, I guess. Thumbs up. Shasta, cousin Shasta says, good morning. Cousin Angela is out there. She says, sorry, I'm late. Never late, dear. Never late. You're right on time. And she says, good morning. Thank you for listening. I think, is this your first time with us? If so, we really do appreciate it as much as we appreciate the others who have been following us along. So thank you guys. And then Vanessa Calvin Watts says, good morning. So good morning to you all. Thank you for being here and for your comments and your input. Um,
Right.
so Brandon, where are we?
Uh, so again, if you are just joining us, I got a couple people that came in on the Instagram live. We are acknowledging and celebrating Black History Month, reading together as a community. Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis, author of best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, a Black Voice. We are reading this together in affirmation of our in collective
Mm,
acknowledgement, not only of Black history, um, but of our own of Black future, of Black presence, of Black community, of Black. And so, if you don't have this book, I do advise you guys to get it. Great book full of passages for every single day of
yes.
here, and what you learn from this can last you a lifetime. So, for rocking with us, this is beautiful for me. This is a mental health cleansing. This is a purification of thoughts. This is a an acquisition of my mind, and it is uh, um, it a tuning of my ear to the voice in my head,
Mm,
to and distincting that voice from the other voices that are not mine. You know, I'm not saying that I'm crazy or anything, but we all have thoughts that I believe aren't ours, whispers, if you will, um, from the seen and the unseen. But to distinct your inner voice and also the voice of the one that created you, I think that that is a distinction that we should all try to tune our ear to make, and also
right.
it calibrates my consciousness. It calibrates my consciousness to know what serves me and what doesn't. To 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 hear without hearing, to see without seeing, and kind of builds up my intuition. So this really start my day off right. It's like half in the morning. Even though you took one last night, it's that feeling of waking up, get a shower, and the water pouring over you. That's what this is for me. So this is as normal to me now as brushing my teeth. And I pray and I hope and I an affirmation continue to do the daily motivations in some way, shape, form, fashion. So I encourage everybody to get this book, everybody to go through these daily motivations with us every 7 a.m. Please tell a friend if you're on the live right now. Um, please share these videos, share these posts in the comment section. Tag the person on the Facebook or on the Instagram. Tag that you think needs to hear some of these daily motivations. Somebody that could use something like this on their way to work, to use something like this on their way to take their children to school, or while they make breakfast for children, or however you start about your day. Please tag somebody and send this to them. And if
Hey,
you're cool with it,
Brandon,
Mom, I'm gonna close
before,
this out.
before you close out, I want two things, and I won't be lengthy here. What you just said took us back to February the 4th. Can you feel the spirit? And I think that's what this is doing. It's putting us, remember at the end, the old lady says, it says, a frail woman answered that when the old man played, he put everyone in the spirit. And this is
Mm-hmm.
putting, I'll answer for myself, putting me in the spirit of my day. And how often do we hear
Mm-hmm.
about the spirit? And then one more quick thing, as you were talking about the trash collectors and all of that, that truly happened to me. Like one guy would come and trash would be everywhere and he wouldn't care. And another would come and if he dropped it, he would get out and get it. And I called to complain, but I gave the one kudos. He's doing his job. The other one, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't need to come here. But it reminded me also of this, you guys, and think about this as you go through the city, your city. Here, we have Germantown, Collierville, places like that, which is considered the uppity up, right? The McDonald's in Germantown, Collierville has strict criteria as far as what how it looks, whatever. If you go to one, now we're all in the same under the same government county wise, right, Brandon?
Right,
The
same
same.
jurisdiction.
So jurisdiction. So see, he has the proper word. So why is it that the McDonald's that our young brothers and sisters, our babies, why is it not required that they have the same thing there? Why is it not required? Because if you did it in Germantown, you get fined. I mean, it's even from the bricks that it's crazy to me. So think about that and make that applicable to your life. And maybe that's something we need to find out. Why does McDonald's over here have to be different than McDonald's over here? Why?
Right.
Because see,
As
it's
you know,
what they want you to see. Go ahead. I'm
right.
sorry.
As you know, I worked a lot in housing policy, affordable housing development and redevelopment. And one of the things that we notice is there's a theory, broken window theory. And the broken window theory, the basically the built environment has an impact on the social environment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you and it has to do like this. If you went to a neighborhood and they have flowers on the front porch that are beautiful, meaning that they're always watered. It says in your mind that someone is taking care of this, someone is maintaining this, someone is watching this every day, someone has given attention to this on a frequent basis. So someone is likely around right now. Those places, as opposed, are less likely to be broken in um, than a place that doesn't have flowers on the porch, that has the window pane or a lack of maintenance on the roof or a broken down fence. Those are the places that are actually more likely to be robbed, more likely to be broken in than the places that are well kept. And this is how, to some of our amazement as the kids that come from a different place, to these beautiful neighborhoods, these huge mansions, and we see that their windows open, just windows wide open. See from the living room, the fridge, you can see everything that they got in their house and all the space in it. And no one's gonna come and try to touch it. No one's gonna come and try to break in. But you could go, you know, to the middle
Mm-hmm.
class and people break in all the because some of those houses are well kept. Some people have the time and space, or the income to
Money.
provide for that maintenance, and people don't because they're out hustling, getting it in or whatever they can to keep the on. So it's just interesting, like even perception. Um, the wolves in our midst only go after the weak ones, only go after the wounded, only go after the old, the disadvantaged. But if you keep it tight, then you can have your windows open and ain't nobody gonna touch it. It's a very interesting life. And you also reminded me, and I know I'm long winded and we have to go. We say we're gonna end at 7:30 in the morning,
I
but
know.
we end at 8. Um, you read, I think it was about day 7, about about the spirit, um, and the woman saying when the man woke up from his sleep and said, what changed? What made them sell this violin that was dusty and old, for $50,000 or whatever it was, as opposed to $50 when he fell asleep and they the bidding at the auction. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
when the man got up and polished and he played it, he put everyone in the spirit. It reminded me of that Williamson quote where she said, "As we our light shine," which to me is like the spirit, guided by the spirit. As we let our own light shine, consciously give other people permission to do this. That's the
Mm-hmm.
spirit. That that that's the excellence that I alluded to earlier. That once we let our own light shine, whether it be our light of character, of intelligence, and academic reflections, and uh, teaching, whether it be our jobs, whether it be our relationships and our conversations with our family, whether it be our own pace with one another and with ourselves. There are different ways to where we can exude and exemplify excellence in everything that we do. So you don't have to have a position of power to be powerful. You don't have to have a position of quote unquote power to be powerful or full of power. There are people that have nothing that can do something to you and it will change your life. And then people that have everything that could say something and it's nothing to you. Listen to how many things how many songs on the radio right now say nothing, or what they do say is disgusting or defiling or undignified and unbecoming of a human being. right? But those people in the position. So let's take ability and take inventory of our value today, folks, and realize that pain is part of the process of growth. And by pain, I don't mean to self-inflict yourself with any kind of harm. That's what I'm talking about here. It's a steadfastness. It's a resilience. It's a patient, persevering patience to get through whatever you're going through. You're growing through. You know, if you're not going through it for any reason, growing through it for a reason. And if you stop, then you're ending at the pain, ending on top of a speed bump. That's see your destination. So I encourage everybody, and I pray that everybody uh, on their journey is their destination. And for today, we have reached our destination in delivering this message as honestly, as truthful, and as openly and concisely as we. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I really enjoyed you. Thank you so much for the kind words and words. I really appreciate you for that's come in and showed up today. And thank y'all so much for being here with us and taking the time with us. Sorry we took a little bit too long, but we're gonna wrap this up the same way we do every day on this show at 7 a.m. with a reading of the title, a reading of the national quote from an dignitary, and 3 readings of the action, so that it really settles our consciousness. So today's title on February 12th is Growing Pains. And our quote in Vereen, an entertainer, the quote is, "Got to make haste while it's still light of day." Godmother used to say, "I don't want to rust out, I just want to work out. If you stand still long enough, people will throw dirt on you." And that has a metaphor, I think, in seed that the man put inside of the jug. And the affirmation for today that we will read 3 times. I'll read one time for myself, one time for my beautiful mother, and one time for you guys and the people in the back. Today, I will break out of I will utilize my potential. You can see it at the bottom of you right there for those that are watching and for those listening in. Again, today, I will break out of my jug. I will utilize my potential. And last time, make sure you say it out loud if you're at home or watching on any of these platforms. Today, I will break out my jug. I will utilize my use your potential today, folks. Y'all have a beautiful day, and we'll see you right here tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the 13th day of our session of Black History and African American success with our daily motivations for African success by best-selling author Dennis Kimbro. Anything before we go, Mom? You're muted on me, sweetie.
I'm sorry. When I'm typing in the comments, I don't want you to hear me and make the noise, so I mute myself. But I just want to remind them: don't pick them up and don't lay them down. I love
Don't pick
that.
them up. Don't.
Don't lay them
Yes.
down.
All right, guys. I love y'all.
Love
I love y'all.
y'all.
Y'all have a good one. Mom,
Peace.
I'll see you today soon. Y'all take care.
All right. Be
Peace.
blessed, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.